I want to talk about Lily Phillips. So I have talked about this woman on the show again, but as you guys know, there has been an influx of the OnlyFans and corn star to church pipeline. And I want to show you guys the stages of this and how this happens. Now, I'm not saying it's bad if OF models come to church, but I personally would not want to bring my husband. Sorry, ladies. I don't know why nobody thinks about these things. So Lily Phillips, OnlyFans models, cries after sleeping with 101 men in a day. Sometimes I feel so robotic. An OnlyFans model who slept with 101 men in a day breaks down in tears as she recounts her 24-hour sex marathon. Lily Phillips, 23, had sex with over 100 men in a day back in October to create some scandalous content for her subscription-based social media page. But despite previously insisting that she enjoyed the extreme stunt and the sex, all that sex didn't make her feel good. Sometimes I feel so robotic, Phillips admitted in YouTube Josh Peters' documentary titled I Slept with 100 Men in a Day. The British sex worker fought back the tears as she recalled that day. I think by the 30th, we're getting on a bit. I've got a routine of how we're going to do this, and sometimes you disassociate and it's not like normal sex at all. Although momentously frisky freak, it wasn't all memorable for the young woman who admitted she didn't remember much of it. In my head, I can think of like 5, 6, 10 guys that I remember, and that's it, she revealed. But it's just weird, isn't it? If I didn't have the videos, I wouldn't have known I did 100. It's how women lie about their body count. I don't remember. It was 10. Phillips shared that it's not just the physical intimacy of having sex with so many men that made her feel so bad, but also by disappointing them and not being able to talk with them or being interested in doing so. She said that conversing with them was also hard and recounted how one man complained that they only chatted for about 2 minutes, and she had said beforehand they would talk for about 5 minutes. The OnlyFans creator continued to hold back tears, although her red puffy eyes showed she had already broken down. When she asked if she thinks she should feel bad about not talking with each man she slept with for a set amount of time, she said, I guess when you've promised something to people who support you, it's kind of hard to let them down. The sex worker also admitted she hadn't processed what she did on the day, but she said she wouldn't forget the day of her emotional interview. The scene ends with her crying and being comforted. In another part of the documentary, Phillips shared that she wouldn't recommend doing what she had done and admitted it was more intense than she thought. It's not for the weak girls, if I'm being honest. It was hard. I don't know if I'd recommend it. It's a different feeling. It's not one in, one out. It feels intense, she said. Yet despite discussing how bad betting 100 men in 24 hours was for her mental and physical health, Phillips recently declared that she plans to have sex with 1,000 men in a day. Phillips has claimed that she wants to take on the new challenge in January. 1,000 men in 24 hours. Men talent casting call. 18 and up only. She posted on social media. I dreamed it up with my assistant. I can't wait. It's very exciting and will be a world record, a real challenge. The current world record is held by Lisa Sparks, an adult film star who betted 919 men in one day at a sex industry event in Poland back in 2004. To be completely transparent with you all, the event is the one thing I regret doing in the 23 plus years in the corn industry to this day. This was also the only job I agreed to perform strictly for money. Sparks, known best by her corn name Lisa Sparks and her website. Sydney medical practitioner Dr. Zach Turner, who specializes in preventative health and wellness, warned that when pushed to the extreme, such activity could hurt the body. Sex at its core is a physically demanding activity that engages various muscles, the cardiovascular system, and the release of endorphins, he said. Done in moderation, it's akin to a rewarding workout, promoting stress relief, cardiovascular health, and emotional well-being. However, when pushed to the extremes, like a 24-hour sex marathon, the physical and physiological toll can be severe. Okay. So as you guys know, and we can expect, conservative Twitter really just ate this up. I want my brother to marry a woman that defends him as hard as church ladies defend corn stars. It's ridiculous. It's insane. I never get the benefit of the doubt with the tradcons on Twitter. Maybe it's because I talk about how dumb they are. But I never get it. It's always, you're not a real Christian, you hate women, da-da-da-da-da. I never get it. But the corn star and OnlyFans models, it's like, here, second chance, third chance, 10th chance. And I'm not saying we are for genuine conversions here. That's fine. That's great. But I need to see something. Now, she's not at the conversion stage yet. We'll wait another 6 months. So Billy Bragg says young women have been groomed into thinking they should be able to do this. We have gone from loose women have something wrong with them to the belief that women should be able to be loose, or there is something wrong with her. Decades of societal messaging has led us here. It's why I don't judge any of them. They're all victims to me. When I was interviewing 1,000 people, now, as you guys know, I moved from Chicago to London a couple of years ago. I played volleyball in the UK for 3 years. And in that time, I launched a YouTube show that became one of the biggest shows in the United States at the time. And I would interview about 5 to 10 women every night. At 1.6 days a week we had coming in. I was either casting or I was interviewing them myself. And once you actually start dealing with corn stars and women that are in the sex industry, you realize that they are not groomed or coerced at all. It's usually one of 3 or 4 things. 1, they like sexual variety, and from a young age, they were just never meant to be with one man. They do not have it in them. And they figure, well, I might as well monetize this because I will never be with one person. The second thing is they love the excitement. It's a fantasy to them. They enjoy having sex on camera with multiple men. They enjoy being desired that much by multiple men. They get a thrill out of it. They like doing things that society would say is bad, like they get off on doing the wrong thing. Another reason that they do sex work, sometimes it's a money grab, it's easier than working. And it's just so interesting to me that everybody thinks the women are coerced. They think that this says the look of dignity lost forever, a soul forfeited for notoriety, a life lost in those eyes. Sad. Then next we have, she's not forever lost, you wretched wretch. The blood of Christ washes all sins away and evil away and can make any person whole again. Oh my goodness, you guys drive me nuts. Everyone keeps on hating on Lily Phillips, but ignored the 101 men who participated. The ratio of sick men to women is the reason few women have become this sick. Okay, so let me get this straight. If I put $1 million on the street for free, I say anybody can take this $1 million. Here, it's for you. Are we really going to blame people for taking it when she's giving out sex for free? Now, many people want to say that these women have no choice. They are just groomed and society pushes them to do this. Now, this woman, 1 to 10, I'm going to give her I would say 7. You guys agree with that? You guys are guys. You guys like women. So I want to hear, you can put in the chat. I'd say 7, right? 7, maybe 8 before. I know it's kind of hard to rank her knowing what she's done, but just imagine she didn't. She could have gone to golf courses and looked to marry rich. She could have did that. She could have said, you know what? All I want to do in life is marry rich. That would be more admirable than this. She could have said, you know what? I'm not really meant to be a wife, but do you know what I'm going to be? I'm going to be a strong, independent woman, and I'm going to go into medical device sales. She could have gone into medical device sales. She's attractive enough to do it. You really need to be a 7 or higher. No one knocked on my door asking if I wanted to do medical device, but you get a big pair of fake boobs, boom, you're golden. Go do it. She could go make 6 figures doing that. Then she could be a strong, independent woman. She could go be a stripper. She could go strip, right? At least, maybe then she could get her sluttiness out there and not have sex with 100 men in one day. 100's a lot, right? All I'm saying, she could have went into the nunnery, but let's not let's not say things that are never going to happen. All I'm saying is she had so many choices of things she could have done that all women are given. It's like, you want to go to school? Here. You guys want to be a prostitute? Oh, you want to be a prostitute from the comfort of your home? Here's OnlyFans. Oh, you want to be a social media influencer, an assistant, a teacher? Go ahead. Do it. You want to go get a gender studies degree? Here you go. Nobody was coerced. She's an adult. Are women, and that's my question. Are we adults who can make our own decisions? Or are we kids? Which one? Pick one, tradcons. Was she coerced or did she make a choice? Does she have free will? Or is the free will dependent on the men? I don't know. Pick one. And then I always get the, if men only led right, she wouldn't do this. Well, I actually watched the documentary and I'm going to show you guys a couple clips from it. I actually watched the full thing from beginning to end. And there was a lot of men that kept saying, are you sure you want to do this? The guy who was doing the documentary the whole time is saying, are you worried about STDs? Are you sure you can do this? So let's not, when we make bad decisions, right, as ladies, there is a million men along the way that say that's a bad idea. And if we don't listen, I say let us suffer, right? So, when we get into a bunch of debt, do most of the women that get a gender studies degree go to their dad and say, hey, dad, or maybe another guy in their life and say, hey, is this a good degree? Do you think I should get this? Or do they say, oh, that sounds fun. Let me go. Do the ladies get spending money on Botox, hair, expensive gym memberships? Do they go to their male friends, their dad, and say, hey, could you help me with this budget? Men love help. Men are the most helpful. Men are they love feeling needed, right? If you appreciate them for it. So, we could do that. It's not like no one put a gun to her head and said, you must sleep with that many men in a day. Now, obviously, I'm going to show you guys some clips from this documentary. So I have 16-minute mark. Okay, so at this point in the documentary, she is talking about how, again, she's not traumatized by this stuff, but she enjoys it. Okay, you guys think I'm making this up? You think, Pearl, you're just making up that these women enjoy this stuff. They really secretly hate it.
But I think at the end of the day, people forget there's also my fantasy. And this is also something that I'm really enjoying and want to do and have wanted to do before I was even in the industry.
Our filming was interrupted briefly by a phone call from Lily's mother. Apparently, she calls Lily every day.
My mum always calls me every day. What have you been up to today? I'm just getting railed. What are you?
Okay, so we have an involved mother, right? And okay, the other thing is there's this idea that the sex workers just had a really bad home life. And that doesn't help, right? A bad home life, it's not like it's not going to contribute to making her a better person. But she's got two parents that love her and call her every day.
Just always checking in on me.
She's checking in on her.
You've obviously spoken to your parents about this, right?
I actually haven't. My parents know what I do, but I'm not on the phone to them every day going, I just got DP'd and 17 guys today.
Yeah.
Or this and that. They don't need to know the logistics.
Of course.
I do feel a little bit embarrassed being Mom and Dad, I'm 100 guys.
Why?
I guess because it's not really what my parents would have wanted me to do.
Okay, there we go. Did she have someone to give? She had two people she could have went to for guidance, and did she? No. The next mark was the 26-minute mark where she says that she gets off on this and she enjoys it. Now, a lot of people want to say ban corn. Ban this stuff. We just got to ban it. I really don't see that being a good strategy. One, it's going to be so difficult to get women like this to stop. I think it sounds nice on a podcast. I see people tweet it all the time. Ban corn. Ban it. Okay, do you know the police power? That's going to take way too much work. All I say is let them face the consequences. Let them suffer. Let them fail.
I think it's more if someone's to my face. I can imagine that's what's put another guy off.
So you would let these guys do that on your face?
Yeah.
And in your mouth?
Yeah.
What if they had HIV?
Is that where it comes from?
Okay, so now he's saying, okay, you're going to let the guys finish on you. You might get AIDS. Is that where it comes from? Okay, I'm going to do it anyway.
Was spunk in the mouth?
It can.
Oh, really? See, I've never really thought about that. Last time when I did it, all of them could in their mouths. I can't really explain it. I get like serotonin, like from when people are like, oh my God, you're on the internet. Sounds crazy.
I know, and I know you're saying that to me right here, but I don't believe that.
Really?
No.
This is, okay, it's the dynamic. She's saying, I get serotonin from being by all these men. And he's saying, I don't believe you. They do. I promise to God, they do.
I kind of love like ruffling feathers a little bit and people getting a bit like agitated by maybe the fact that people think I'm like so sad and stuff like that. But that could not be like further from the truth. I don't think people realise like how happy this makes me. But I just think it's so funny and I can't really put it into words.
Have you done anything to...
I can't put it into words how happy this makes me. I am so glad that we have social media now because I think when I tell these stories, people think I'm crazy. When I tell the stories of the sex workers that I've met that enjoyed what they did, everyone thinks I'm insane. Until now. Okay, 42-minute mark. Let's see. It's after she did all the sexing. If you guys want to see, this is on Josh Peters' channel. You can watch the whole thing.
Yeah, he's not good with smells. Lily then walked us through the process that she had repeated 100 times that day.
Come on in, make yourself at home, take your shoes off. I've got some hangers here if you want to put your coat up. Come on in, where you travel from today? Oh, lovely. Yeah, oh, it's so nice to meet you. I'll get you on the bed, make yourself comfortable, take off your trousers, and we're going to have a fun time. And I'll give them the phone camera. I'll just say, I'm guessing you don't want your face in it. Yeah. And if they don't, it'll be POV phone camera. Yeah. I'll start usually with a bob, and then I'll say, like, is there anything you like, don't like, any certain position you want to do? Yeah. And then, yeah, we kind of got straight into it. Did you do the with a condom on, or? No, I didn't. Condom off. Okay, but then like once they're having sex and it's like condom on type thing. Yeah. It does smell a lot like.
So did she say when they started, they had it all? Ew, oh my gosh, this girl's gonna get AIDS.
I mean, and
diseases sometimes can be cured, others can't. They said, look, guys, there is too much money in fixing women's poor decisions. If you want to make money, you just invest in something, which is undoing a decision that we made previously. Example, tattoo removal. That's going to come back. If somebody could reverse menopause, I doubt it, but they would be really rich. Now, the AIDS thing, now we're having people live long lives with AIDS. That was unheard of. There's too much money in this stuff.
And there's Rose. That's nice. Did one of the guys? Rose. And how are you feeling?
Surprisingly, downstairs is not really sore. Okay. It's more just tired. My eyes sting like nothing else.
Why?
So part of the reason she was tearing up is because her eyes sting.
Because of all the cum in it. I think I repeatedly said, you can come on my face, but not in my eye.
And they just went right at the eye.
Well, I think like it might have been an accident. But no, I mean, I've definitely seen some spunk today, Jesus.
Yeah, so then next, we're going to go to 44-minute mark where she says she feels bad. We're going to watch the full clip.
You know when I talked to you last, like I was not nervous. It was like the day before, I was like so nervous. But it was good. It was more, I guess the interactions when like I'd have to stop them early and like you'd have to stand on business and be like, I'm so sorry, you got to go. And like the awkward interaction of like you feeling pressure to have to make them come if like you haven't spent enough time with them and feeling like...
No, I got no sympathy because this is still easier than a lot of men's jobs. I asked my brother's best friend works for my dad. And I asked him today, I said, for $1 billion, would you be gay? Would you hook up with a guy for $1 billion? One time you're set for life. He said a lot of men, I mean, if it's enough money, they'll do it too. You know what? I actually met a couple male OnlyFans models. They don't get paid out nearly as much, but they weren't gay, allegedly, but they said they were for money. They realized it's easier than doing that. They said no. Okay, I'm not saying you guys would do it. I'm just saying there's harder jobs than this, okay? And I don't buy. I think when they say they're so broken and da-da-da-da-da, I think maybe they have remorse because of the decisions, the consequences later. But now the corn stars are getting married. I think most of the time it's just a rebrand.
Like, you didn't give them a good time because, like, they only got 2
So she's mad, not because she regrets it, but because she didn't give them a good enough time. That's good customer service, I'll tell you what. She is very proud of her brand.
minutes.
And that's what's making you feel emotional, is that maybe you think you didn't give some guys a good enough time today?
Yeah, and it's hard, I think, having the interactions with them when they're like, what, you're not going to make me finish? I've come all this way. Like, kind of like guilt tripping me a little bit. I felt bad. Like, some people just travel so far. Like, I didn't want to give them a shit time and like come away from this and be like, oh, that was shit. I think sometimes like feeling so like robotic, like by the 30th, you know, like when we're getting on a bit, I've got like a routine of like how we're going to do.
Now we have to think about the incentives here, right? We have to go back to the incentives. The incentive is if she cries after, she sells more OnlyFans. If she makes this, we all know in a story, the more ups and downs there are in a story, the better it sells. So do I buy this for a second? Not really. I don't. And I'm sorry that I think you guys are all dumb if you buy it. I'm not gonna, maybe I should be more respectful, but I didn't buy it when I was in high school. And I went to a Catholic high school and they would bring in chastity speakers every year. And every year they would bring in some couple where the woman, her testimony was that she got ran through, and the man's testimony was that he cleaned up her mess after. And that's what we keep seeing, right? We see women get married and then the men have to clean up after. So now here she made a poor decision that everyone warned her against. And now the men are expected to give her what? Sympathy after? Please. It's completely fake, yeah. Make sure you go get my merch at justpearlymerch.com. We have equal rights, equal left shirts, so go check them out. Like the video on your way out, subscribe to the channel, and I will talk to you tomorrow. See ya.